Everyone is welcome to the movie recap. We remind you with love, you can subscribe us to watch the latest videos that we upload. And don't forget to click the bell icon. Today, I am going to explain the movie Jupiter Ascending, which was released in 2015. So let's go to the movie. Jupiter Jones begins her tale by speaking fondly of her parents. Her father, Maximilian Jones, was a romantic soul who found love in the most unexpected place, Russia. It was there that he met Alexa, a beautiful woman with an enchanting spirit. The two of them would spend countless hours gazing up at the stars through Maximilian's telescope, dreaming of all the wonders that the universe held. As fate would have it, the pair soon found themselves expecting a child. Maximilian knew without a doubt that he wanted to name their baby Jupiter, a name that spoke to his love of astronomy and the mysteries of the cosmos. However, Alexa was hesitant, unsure of such an unconventional name for their child. Sadly, tragedy struck one fateful night when two robbers broke into their home, and Maximilian was shot. Despite Alexa's desperate attempts to save him, he ultimately passed away in her loving arms. Despite the loss of her beloved, Alexa remained strong and resilient, determined to bring their child into the world. As fate would have it, Jupiter was born on a boat as Alexa and her family made their way to America. It was a moment of bittersweet beauty, a testament to the unbreakable bonds of love and the indomitable spirit of the human soul. In the bustling city of Chicago, Jupiter finds herself working as a janitor, trapped in a life that feels unfulfilling and lacking in purpose. Though she longs for something more, she finds herself lacking the ambition and direction to take action and change her circumstances. In the vast expanse of the galaxy, three skilled bounty hunters, Falk, Rozzo, and Ibis, have been tasked with tracking down a particular target. Their search leads them to the bustling city streets of Chicago, where they set their sights on the apartment of a young woman named Jupiter. As they prepare to make their move, their attention is drawn to a figure lurking nearby. It is a man named Caine Wise, and they soon realize that he too is after the elusive Jupiter. With their sights set on the same target, the bounty hunters make their move, descending upon Caine with all the ferocity of their training and expertise. But Caine is no ordinary man, and he is well equipped to handle the assault, emerging from the fray with his hover boots and shield at the ready. He fends off his attackers with a deadly precision and skill that leaves them reeling. Despite their best efforts, Caine manages to evade them and make his escape, his mission to find Jupiter still burning strong within him. As the dust settles and the bounty hunters retreat to lick their wounds, the city streets are left with an air of tension and unease. It is clear that something much larger than any of them could have anticipated is at play, and the stage is set for a battle of epic proportions between those who seek to claim Jupiter for their own. Jupiter finds herself at a family dinner, surrounded by the people who are supposed to love and support her. But as she asks her uncle Vasily for a small favor, she is met with coldness and disdain. Vasily denies her request for money, cruelly insinuating that Jupiter's intelligence is what's keeping her from finding a husband. Though her mother Alexa rushes to her defense, the rest of the family seems to be in agreement with Vasily's harsh words. Jupiter feels the weight of their judgment bearing down on her, stifling her dreams and aspirations. As the night wears on, Jupiter finds herself lost in thought, seeking solace in the soft glow of a telescope on eBay. It is then that her cousin Vlady appears, with a suggestion that could offer her a way out of her financial struggles. The idea of donating her eggs at a fertility clinic is not one that fills Jupiter with excitement, but in her desperation, she finds herself agreeing to Vlady's plan. It is a small glimmer of hope in an otherwise dark and uncertain future, and she clings to it with all her might. Despite the family's lack of support, Jupiter is determined to carve out a life for herself that is worthy of her dreams and ambitions. And as she embarks on this new journey, she knows that the road ahead will be long and difficult, but she is ready to face it with all the strength and resilience that she possesses. High above the vast expanse of space, the Abrasax siblings rule over the galaxy with a ruthless grip. But as news of Jupiter's existence reaches their ears, their plans for domination begin to shift. Balaam, newly awakened from a planetary harvest, feels a stirring within him, a desire to claim what is rightfully his. His brother Titus, meanwhile, indulges in his hedonistic pleasures, even as his aide Famulus brings him news of Caine's successful tracking of Jupiter. And then there is Kalik, with her own concerns about the fate of the Earth. She senses that there is more to Jupiter than meets the eye, that perhaps this young woman holds the key to a greater power, one that could change the course of their destinies forever. As the siblings plot and scheme, their eyes turn to Jupiter, a small speck in the vastness of the universe, yet one that holds the potential to upset their carefully laid plans. And so the stage is set for a cosmic battle of epic proportions, as the forces of good and evil collide in a struggle for the fate of the Earth and the entire galaxy beyond. As Catherine readies herself for a night out, a sudden disturbance in the air catches her attention. Before she can even react, a group of alien beings called Keepers materialize in the apartment, their otherworldly presence suffusing the room with an eerie glow. Jupiter, ever curious, pulls out her phone to snap a picture of the strange creatures, but the keepers are quick to react, lunging at her with a ferocity that takes her by surprise. Moments later, Catherine awakens, disoriented and unsure of what just transpired. Jupiter, too, is left reeling, her mind racing with questions about these enigmatic beings and their strange, otherworldly powers. As they struggle to make sense of what just happened, Jupiter and Catherine can't help but wonder what other mysteries lurk in the vast reaches of the universe, and whether they will be able to uncover the truth before it's too late. Jupiter, determined to earn some extra cash, makes her way to the clinic under Catherine's name. But little does she know, her presence has not gone unnoticed. Balaam, ever watchful, is informed of her whereabouts and orders his minions to seek her out and eliminate her. As Jupiter lays on the bed, the doctor's true intentions become clear. They levitate her, probing her body for any signs of her true identity. But just as they are about to strike, Caine appears, his hover boots whirring to life as he leaps into action. With a single fluid motion, he dispatches the doctors and reveals their true form as keepers. In the chaos that ensues, Caine grabs Jupiter and whisks her away to safety, the two of them hurtling through the cosmos in a desperate bid to stay one step ahead of their pursuers. Jupiter finds herself at the top of the towering Willis Tower, contemplating the dizzying view of the city below. Caine, the mysterious genetically engineered being with a wolf's DNA, joins her and reveals to her the startling truth: she is the rightful owner of the planet Earth. But why would anyone want to harm her? Caine explains that her life is in danger because of this very fact, and that she is being pursued by powerful and ruthless intergalactic forces who will stop at nothing to prevent her from taking her rightful place as ruler of the world. Jupiter is stunned by the revelations, and even more so when she learns that human life began on another planet altogether called Oris. But before she can absorb this mind-blowing information, they are beamed up by a spaceship hovering over them. Just as they think they are safe, the trio of bounty hunters show up and attack, destroying the ship. Caine grabs Jupiter and they soar over the city on his hover boots, pursued by the relentless hunters. The chase ends in a fierce battle that results in Jupiter falling from the sky. But in a moment of incredible bravery, Caine swoops down and catches her just before she hits the ground. Faced with the gravity of her situation and the weight of her newfound destiny, Jupiter must rely on her courage and Caine's strength to navigate the treacherous waters ahead. With no other option left, Caine hijacks a small ship and escapes with Jupiter, setting off on a perilous journey that will determine the fate of the world as they know it. Caine and Jupiter venture away from the hustle and bustle of the city, where Caine elaborates on the fascinating and dark history of the Abrasax family. They have been experimenting on humans by splicing them with other animals for centuries, which has resulted in events such as the extinction of the dinosaurs. As they approach their destination, the home of Caine's former partner, Stinger Apini, Jupiter can't help but feel a little uneasy. Stinger, who is spliced with a bee, resides with his ailing daughter. He and Caine used to be skyjackers but went their separate ways after an incident. Now, Stinger holds a grudge against Caine. The two engage in a heated argument, but their quarrel is interrupted by a swarm of bees. The bees fly towards Jupiter, but to her amazement, they never sting her. Instead, they encircle her as if protecting her. Jupiter moves her arms around them, and they dance around her in unison. Stinger recognizes the significance of this event and starts to refer to Jupiter as Your Majesty. It is clear that Jupiter has a destiny much greater than she ever imagined, and with the help of Caine and Stinger, she may just be able to fulfill it. As they race through the fields, the tension in the air is palpable. Jupiter and her companions are pursued by the relentless bounty hunters, their pursuers closing in on them at every turn. But just as it seems that all is lost, a glimmer of hope appears in the form of the Aegis. Caine, desperate to save Jupiter from certain doom, reaches out to his fellow space cops for assistance. The chase continues, and the bounty hunters draw ever nearer, but help is on the way. In a flurry of chaos and gunfire, Falk corners Jupiter and prepares to take her captive. But just as he is about to strike, a shot rings out, and Falk falls to the ground, lifeless. Razzo stands behind him, gun in hand, ready to defend Jupiter at any cost. Despite their valiant efforts, however, the bounty hunters manage to capture Jupiter and take her aboard their ship. Caine refuses to give up, however, and latches onto the ship as it takes off into the vast expanse of space, determined to save the woman he has come to love. As Razzo and Ibis guide Jupiter to Kalik's home, the young woman's mind races with questions about her newfound identity. Kalik welcomes her with open arms, explaining that she is a genetic incarnation of her long-deceased mother, and shows her a stunning statue that looks eerily like Jupiter herself. Jupiter is amazed as Kalik reveals that she is over 14,000 years old and that her mother was a staggering 90,000 when she was murdered. As Kalik bathes and transforms her appearance to a more youthful one, Stinger suddenly appears with Commander Diamakut Singh and the Aegis in tow, demanding that Kalik surrender Jupiter to them. The tension in the room is palpable, as Jupiter realizes just how much danger she is in. Jupiter is determined to establish her claim on Earth, but the process requires her to journey to Oris and undergo a complicated registration procedure. She navigates through a series of chambers, guided by an android lawyer, until she is branded with a tattoo on her wrist that signifies her ownership of Earth. During this time, Jupiter tries to engage Caine in conversation, hoping to get to know him better. Caine, however, feels unworthy of her and compares himself to a mere canine, despite Jupiter's assurance that she loves dogs. Despite his reluctance, Jupiter finds herself drawn to Caine, and the magnetic connection between them grows stronger with each passing moment. After being taken in by Titus and his people, Jupiter finds herself in the company of the charming but manipulative Titus, who has a hidden agenda. As they dine together, Titus becomes aware of Jupiter's growing affection for Caine, but he still proposes to her. While exploring his grand estate, Titus reveals a secret room filled with thousands of vials containing youth serums made from the harvested bodies of hundreds of humans. Jupiter is horrified to discover the true extent of the Abrasax family's sinister plans and realizes the grave danger that lies ahead. Caine found himself trapped in a chamber, a prisoner of Titus and his people. Their plan was to force Caine into a marriage with Jupiter, only to then kill her and claim Earth as their own. It was a sinister plot, but Caine remained determined to escape his captivity. With a sudden burst of action, Titus expelled Caine into the unforgiving emptiness of space, his hands shackled behind him. But Caine refused to surrender to this cruel fate. Using his trusty hover boots, he burned the cuffs off his wrists and seized a floating pack containing a life-saving spacesuit. The suit formed itself around Caine's body, shielding him from the deadly vacuum and providing him with a precious supply of oxygen. But time was running out for Caine. With only 40 minutes of air remaining, he fought to survive in the harsh and unyielding void. Suddenly, salvation arrived in the form of the Aegis, emerging from hyperspace to rescue him from certain death. With a fierce determination and a relentless will to live, Caine had overcome impossible odds and emerged victorious against all who sought to defeat him. As the wedding ceremony drew near, a sense of unease settled over the grand cathedral. Titus, the groom, had his ring printed on his finger, but the bride, Jupiter, was hesitant. Just as she was about to have her own ring printed on, chaos erupted. Caine burst into the cathedral aboard a ship, his arrival shattering the calm of the wedding. With a determined stride, he marched up to the platform where Jupiter and Titus stood, and urgently warned her that her groom was planning to kill her. The atmosphere was tense as the three of them faced off, with Caine holding Titus at gunpoint. But Jupiter, ever the pragmatist, simply wanted to go home. Even in the midst of such turmoil, she remained steadfast in her determination to survive and thrive in the world she knew best. In the end, it was her iron will and unwavering spirit that prevailed, as she and her would-be assassins stood down, and Jupiter emerged victorious. Through it all, she remained true to herself and her values, a shining example of strength and resilience in the face of adversity. As events unfolded, Balaam received shocking news that Jupiter was still alive. In response, he dispatched his fearsome henchman Sargorn and his team of lizard rat men to Earth, with orders to capture Jupiter's family and bring them back to him. Jupiter, meanwhile, had returned to her family home, only to discover the terrible truth that her loved ones were in grave danger. With steely resolve, she realized that the only way to protect them was to return to the vast expanse of space, to face down her enemies and fight for what she held most dear. Summoning her courage and determination, Jupiter rallied to the cause, refusing to let her family be taken without a fight. Through sheer force of will, she rose up to meet the challenge, confronting her foes head-on and emerging triumphant against all odds. Jupiter arrives at a mining facility on the planet where Balaam resides, with the Aegis in hot pursuit. However, the planet is protected by a formidable shield that prevents their entry. Balaam, the ruthless leader of the Abrasax Dynasty, demands that Jupiter sign over her rights to Earth in exchange for sparing the lives of her family. But Jupiter is not one to be easily swayed by such empty promises, and as Balaam shows her the sleeping family members floating in stasis, she realizes the true horror of their situation. Knowing that signing the contract would only lead to their eventual demise, she bravely refuses and shatters the document, determined to fight for her family and for Earth itself. With the help of Stinger, Caine defies all odds and successfully penetrates the planet's shield to infiltrate Balaam's stronghold. Despite the danger, Caine refuses to abandon Jupiter's family, and he valiantly fights his way through the lizard rat people to rescue them. With Jupiter's family secured, Caine whisks Jupiter away from Balaam's grasp with a clever device that opens a hole beneath her. Outside, the facility begins to crumble, and chaos ensues as Caine confronts Sargorn in a fierce battle. Meanwhile, Balaam's true intentions are revealed as he makes a desperate attempt to eliminate Jupiter himself. But Caine is not one to be defeated so easily. With a decisive move, he shoves Sargorn into the hole he created and removes the device, causing the hole to close around Sargorn's neck, crushing it. Caine emerges victorious, but the danger is far from over as the facility continues to collapse around them. As Jupiter fights against Balaam, she feels the weight of the entire universe on her shoulders. Balaam's twisted beliefs and desires have threatened her family and the future of Earth. She looks deep into his eyes, knowing that she must fight with all her might. Balaam, convinced that Jupiter is the reincarnation of his mother, confesses to the murder of his own mother. Jupiter, fueled by anger and determination, shoots him in the leg and strikes him across the face with a metal bar. As they struggle, the platform beneath them starts to crack and break apart. Balaam falls to his death, unable to hold on. Jupiter almost falls too, but Caine saves her just in time. The entire facility begins to crumble around them, and they race against time to escape. With the help of the Aegis, they manage to get Jupiter's family and themselves to safety. As they leave the planet, Jupiter looks back, knowing that she has saved her family and the fate of Earth. She knows that this is just the beginning of her journey, but she feels stronger and more determined than ever before. Jupiter and her family return home, grateful to be safe and sound. As she prepares breakfast for everyone, her family surprises her with the telescope she's been wanting. Overjoyed, Jupiter looks forward to taking a closer look at the stars and the mysteries of the universe. She then reveals to her family that she has a date, and they eagerly pepper her with playful questions like, "Is he Russian?" and tease her about the possibility of finding true love. Despite the chaos and danger she's experienced, Jupiter is happy to have her loved ones by her side and excited to see what the future holds. Jupiter meets Caine on the rooftop of a towering skyscraper, their silhouettes outlined against the setting sun. With a flick of his wrist, Caine's wings gracefully unfold from his back, and Jupiter takes to the air with her own hover boots. In that moment, she feels liberated and free, as if anything is possible. She decides to keep her newfound power a secret from her family, not wanting it to change the dynamic between them. With the city skyline stretching out before them, Jupiter and Caine share a kiss before soaring off into the horizon together. So, that's it. This is a very nice movie. If you haven't already watched it, you must watch it. You can do so by clicking the link in the description. Be sure to comment with your thoughts below. If the video feels good, then like this video. Finally, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to click the bell icon to be notified of our latest videos. Thank you for watching this video and have a nice day.